In this worksheet called Formulas, there are many, many different formulas. And in the lower right-hand corner, and it's not uncommon to go to that location in certain worksheets to see a grand total or a bottom line total, we do have a total here. It's got a simple formula in it. It simply gathers data from one of two other cells. But what we are really trying to find out here is where does this cell get its data from? Not just these two cells, because what if those cells have formulas in them? So what we'd like to know is which cells in this worksheet, which if altered, can have an impact on our bottom line total. Another way we could phrase this is, where does this cell get its data from? And if we simply want to know that and not be concerned about any data that might be involved from other worksheets, we'll press Control-Shift-Left bracket. And all the cells that are highlighted, they're currently gray, if altered, could have impact on our total over in cell L27. If we'd like to apply color here, we can certainly do that. That's not necessary, but it gives us a good quick read on this worksheet and perhaps suggests a certain level of complexity too. Now, a different way to do this, and it has one advantage, and it's very analogous to what you might have seen in the previous movie. That's the idea that we can check the precedents of this cell. That's the term we use to say, show all cells which, if altered, can alter the content of cell L27. So L27 is currently the active cell. We go to the Formulas tab in the ribbon and choose Trace Precedents. Click it once. That only shows us the two cells that are directly referred to in the formula. Keep clicking Trace Precedents. If you have a speaker on, eventually you will hear a beep. What we're also looking for here is not only the cells that are going to have an impact on that total, but we want to see if there are any cells on different worksheets. And sure enough, in this example, there are. As we zoom in the upper left portion of the worksheet here, we see an icon suggesting a different sheet, and that points to cell E5. If we click the cell E5, either looking in the formula bar or double-clicking right here, we see that this formula is getting data from a different worksheet. Sometimes this might even be a different worksheet in another workbook that's currently open. So from cell M1 in the rounding worksheet, this particular cell right here, E5, has a formula that's getting data from that cell. So if we want to see that, we can certainly jump over there by double-clicking the dashed line or simply clicking on the worksheet. So I'll press Escape, double-click the dashed line, and double-click the reference right here. So here we are at cell M1, a different worksheet. Now, as we look at this cell here, if we look in the formula bar or double-click it, there's nothing going on here. If we were looking only at this, we wouldn't know. We have no idea whatsoever, if we're looking at this cell only, that it is being referred to by a cell elsewhere. And so back to the Formulas tab again. In this worksheet, here we go again. In cell E5, here's a formula that pulls data from another worksheet. So once again, we have a technique similar to what we saw in the previous movie. In this case, we're tracing the precedents of a cell. We're trying to find all the cells which, if altered, could change our total in cell L27. Remember, the keystroke shortcut is Control-Shift-Left bracket. It does a great job, but it doesn't show us references on other worksheets. That's why we sometimes will actually need to use, on the Formulas tab, the Trace Precedents formula auditing tool.